In the heart of an ordinary town, amidst a tapestry of rolling hills and serene streams, there lived a man named Edward, a man who had known the ebb and flow of life, yet felt an unquenchable yearning for something more. His existence had been one of quiet routines, a predictable rhythm that had brought him comfort for many years. But as the days turned into weeks, and the seasons cycled in their perpetual dance, Edward found himself standing at a crossroads, haunted by a persistent whisper that echoed within his soul. It was a whisper that beckoned him to venture beyond the borders of his familiar world, a world he had come to know like the pages of a cherished book, where each chapter was comfortably predictable. This whisper stirred something deep within him, an intangible desire for adventure and purpose, for the unknown that lay beyond the horizon. The mundane had lost its luster, and the quietude that once brought him solace had begun to feel like a heavy shroud, stifling his spirit. With each passing day, Edward felt the tug of restlessness growing stronger, like a symphony building to a crescendo. The echoes of his own dreams, once dormant in the recesses of his mind, now resounded like a clarion call. It was as if a silent vow had been etched into the very fibers of his being, a promise to himself to seek out the uncharted, to embrace the enigma of the world, and to unravel the mysteries of existence that had long eluded him. One fateful morning, with the sun's first golden rays breaking through the curtains of his bedroom, Edward made a decision that would alter the course of his life forever. He resolved to leave behind the familiarity of his home, the comfort of routine, and the well-worn paths of his daily existence. The ties that bound him to this place, like fragile spider silk, were broken with each step he took towards the door. As he packed a small bag with the essentials for his journey, a sense of melancholy washed over him. Friends and family, deeply concerned, had gathered to implore him to reconsider his decision. They spoke of the value of a peaceful life, the importance of the known, and the perils that lay beyond the safety of his hearth. But Edward's heart remained resolute, and he gently but firmly extricated himself from their pleas, leaving behind a tearful mother, a worried father, and friends who watched with a mixture of admiration and apprehension. Edward's journey, as he embarked upon it, was not a flight of fancy or a heedless escape. It was, at its core, a quest for meaning, a search for a purpose that had eluded him amidst the monotony of his days. With each step he took away from the world he had always known, he stepped into an odyssey of self-discovery, a journey that would lead him through the beautiful and the harrowing, the joyful and the sorrowful, the profound and the mundane. This is the story of Edward, a man who cast aside the safety net of routine to embark on a poignant journey through the labyrinthine corridors of life. It is a tale not of fiction but of reality, one that resonates with the deepest yearnings within us all. It is a story of growth, of the profound impact of human connection, and the inevitable dance of joy and sorrow that defines our existence. Edward's story will take us through 5 chapters, each illuminating the facets of his transformation and the lessons he learns along the way, with a rich tapestry of 620 daily life English vocabulary words weaving the narrative together. It is a story of heartache and hope, of loss and redemption, a journey that captures the essence of the human experience.
Chapter 1: The Departure. The morning of Edward's departure arrived like a quiet but significant turning point in the story of his life. As he stepped out of his front door, a sense of trepidation mixed with anticipation clung to him like a morning mist. His small bag, containing the essentials of his journey, felt heavier than he had expected. It wasn't just the physical weight, it was the gravity of the unknown that weighed on his shoulders. The townsfolk, having heard of his decision, had gathered in the narrow streets, offering both well wishes and warnings. Friends and family, their faces etched with concern, lined the path leading away from his home, silently urging him to reconsider. For some, it was a matter of preserving the status quo, while for others, it was the fear of the unforeseen that drove their pleas. His mother, her eyes filled with tears, clung to him for a moment longer than the rest. "Edward," she whispered, her voice quivering with emotion, "don't forget where you come from, and know that we love you." His father, a stoic man with a heart brimming with pride and a hint of worry, offered a firm handshake. "Find what you're looking for, son," he said. "But remember, you can always come back." Edward nodded, his throat tight, unable to utter the words that welled up within him. With a final, lingering gaze at the home that had cradled him for so long, he turned away, his resolve resolute. The road stretched before him like an infinite ribbon of possibilities, winding through fields painted with wildflowers, beneath canopies of ancient trees, and past streams that murmured their tales to anyone who would listen. The morning sun painted the world in shades of gold and green, and Edward's heart ached with a longing he had never known before. As he ventured further from his hometown, the once familiar sights and sounds slowly gave way to the unfamiliar. The daily life vocabulary that had been a part of his routine now became his passport to interaction in the new world he was entering. In the nearby town, he greeted shopkeepers, exchanged pleasantries with fellow travelers, and sought directions from kind strangers. Each encounter was a lesson, a glimpse into the rich tapestry of human existence. He heard stories of triumph and tragedy, laughter and lament, hopes and heartaches. And he discovered that the more he listened, the more he realized how much there was to learn about the lives of others and, in turn, about himself. The first leg of his journey led him to a small inn where he found shelter for the night. As he lay in his modest room, his thoughts drifted between the home he had left behind and the uncertain path ahead. The weight of his decision pressed upon him, but beneath it, he felt a flicker of excitement, the spark of adventure that had ignited his journey in the first place. With the moon casting its silver light upon the world outside, Edward drifted into sleep, knowing that the road he had chosen to travel was one less traveled, where every step held the promise of transformation and discovery. This was only the beginning of his odyssey, and the true depths of his journey were yet to be uncovered in the chapters that lay ahead. As he left his home, a feeling of melancholy washed over him like the gentle rain that had often whispered secrets to the earth in the quietude of the night. It was a melancholy that crept into the deepest corners of his soul, a wistful nostalgia for the life he had known. Each creak of the wooden porch beneath his footsteps, the familiar scent of his mother's homemade bread wafting from the kitchen, and the distant laughter of children playing in the neighborhood, these everyday sensations became precious treasures, treasured fragments of a life he was leaving behind. Friends and family, the pillars of his existence, gathered around him with pleas that were both earnest and heartfelt. They spoke of the warmth of the hearth, the bonds of kinship, and the comfort of the known. They urged him to reconsider, to stay within the cocoon of their shared history, where the threads of connection were woven tightly, and the fabric of community was warm and reassuring. But Edward was resolute, his eyes fixed on a horizon unknown, his heart yearning for something more. The melancholy that enveloped him wasn't a sign of doubt, but rather a reflection of the profound change he was about to undergo. It was the bittersweet realization that to reach for the stars, one must leave the comforts of solid ground. As he bid farewell to the only life he had known, he took with him the lessons of his past. The wisdom of his father's stories by the fireside, the comforting embrace of his mother's lullabies, and the camaraderie of childhood friends, all of these were etched into his very being, a foundation on which he would build his future. He packed a small bag with the essentials, each item carefully chosen for its practicality and necessity. His mother's hand-stitched quilt, warm and familiar, now became his blanket for the road ahead. A few cherished books, worn and well-loved, were nestled among his clothing, a reminder of the stories that had ignited his imagination and kindled his desire for adventure. With a few spare coins, a well-worn journal, and a photograph of his family, he set off on his journey, leaving behind the familiar surroundings of his hometown. The door of his home closed behind him with a final, echoing thud, sealing the passage of one chapter and the beginning of another. As he ventured further down the winding path, the world opened up before him like a book with blank pages, waiting to be filled with the stories and experiences that lay ahead. Edward walked into the great unknown, feeling a mixture of trepidation and excitement, a heart heavy with the weight of farewells and dreams of what might be. His journey had begun, and he was determined to embrace the unpredictable, to seek out meaning and purpose, and to discover the pieces of himself that were yet unknown. The road ahead was uncertain, but it was the path he had chosen, a path that would lead him to both the beauty and the tragedy of life, and ultimately, to the core of his own existence.
Chapter 2: The Road Less Traveled. Edward's journey continued along the winding roads and through picturesque landscapes. His initial melancholy gradually gave way to a growing sense of adventure and curiosity. As he ventured further from his hometown, he felt like an explorer, unraveling the mysteries of the world around him. The 620 daily life English vocabulary words he had amassed were now more than just tools for communication, they were keys to unlocking the stories and experiences of the people he met. In the towns and villages he passed through, he encountered people from all walks of life. Shopkeepers, farmers, artists, and laborers, all had their own tales to tell. They shared their joys and sorrows, their triumphs and struggles, painting a vibrant tapestry of the human experience. The kindness of strangers, their willingness to share their stories, and their genuine interest in Edward's own journey touched his heart. It became clear to him that human connection was a universal language, transcending boundaries and barriers. He found himself engaged in conversations with people he might have never met if he had stayed within the confines of his familiar world. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm, golden hue across the landscape, Edward sat by a campfire he had built in a secluded clearing. As the flames crackled and danced, he listened to the stories of a group of travelers who had also chosen the road less traveled. Among them was Samuel, a weathered man with deep lines etched into his face, and a sparkle of wisdom in his eyes. Samuel had lived a life filled with hardship, loss, and heartache. He spoke of once being a successful businessman who had lost everything in a financial crash, leaving him homeless and destitute. Samuel's story was one of tragedy and resilience, and Edward was captivated by the strength of character that had allowed him to endure life's harshest blows. Samuel's tale left a profound impact on Edward. He realized that, despite his own challenges and uncertainties, he had much to be grateful for. In the presence of people like Samuel, he found a deeper understanding of the power of resilience and the importance of empathy. The road less traveled had not only taken him to new places but had also opened his heart to the incredible stories of the people he met along the way. The following morning, Edward bid farewell to his newfound friends, feeling a deep connection with them that transcended the brevity of their encounter. He continued his journey, his steps lighter and his spirit enriched by the experiences of those he had met. Chapter 2 had taught Edward the invaluable lesson that life's most profound lessons are often found in the stories of others. He understood that the world was far more complex and beautiful than he had ever imagined, and that every person he met had a unique and important story to tell. As he walked on, he felt a sense of purpose and a newfound appreciation for the beauty of diversity and the strength of the human spirit. The road less traveled, with all its uncertainties, had become the path to enlightenment, connection, and self-discovery. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the world bathed in the soft hues of twilight, Edward found himself in a quiet park on the outskirts of a bustling city. It was here that he had a chance encounter that would forever alter the course of his journey. As he strolled along a gravel path, the flickering lampposts casting a warm, inviting glow, he noticed a figure huddled on a bench beneath the spreading branches of an ancient oak tree. The figure, a man of about Edward's age, was dressed in tattered clothes, with a scruffy beard and a weathered expression that seemed to hold a lifetime of stories. Approaching the bench, Edward noticed that the man's eyes were distant, and his hands trembled as he clutched a worn and dog-eared book. The man seemed to be living a life of profound solitude, and yet his eyes held a glimmer of inner strength and resilience that Edward couldn't ignore. With a gentle and respectful tone, Edward struck up a conversation with the man, introducing himself and asking about his life. The man, whose name was Samuel, began to share his tragic story. Samuel had once been a successful businessman, a man of ambition and dreams. His life had been filled with the hustle and bustle of the corporate world, and he had enjoyed financial success beyond his wildest aspirations. But as he spoke, it became clear that his fortunes had taken a drastic turn. A financial crash, one that had sent shockwaves through the economy, had left Samuel bankrupt and homeless. The comfortable life he had known had crumbled before his eyes, and he had found himself on the streets, facing a harsh and unforgiving reality. Samuel's voice trembled as he described the night spent shivering in the cold, the uncertainty of where his next meal would come from, and the loss of the life he had once cherished. Edward listened intently, his heart heavy with the weight of Samuel's story. He realized that, despite the uncertainties of his own journey and the challenges he faced, he had much to be grateful for. He had a loving family, a roof over his head, and the privilege of pursuing his dreams. Samuel's plight was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictability of fate. This encounter left a profound impact on Edward, one that would stay with him for the rest of his journey. He understood that the road he had chosen was not merely about self-discovery, it was also about empathy and gratitude. Samuel's story had illuminated the vast spectrum of human experiences, from triumph to tragedy, and had kindled a deep sense of appreciation for the blessings that were often taken for granted. As Edward bid farewell to Samuel that evening, he left not just with the weight of Samuel's story but also with a newfound sense of purpose. He had set out on this journey seeking meaning and adventure, but he had found something even more profound, a connection to the human spirit, a deeper understanding of life's complexities, and the transformative power of empathy. In the days that followed, as he continued his travels, Edward became increasingly attuned to the stories of those he met along the way. Each person he encountered, each conversation he shared, became a piece of a larger tapestry of human existence, and Edward, with an open heart and a receptive mind, was ready to absorb the lessons that life had to offer.
Chapter 3: An Unexpected Bond. Edward's journey carried him further into the world, and as the days turned into weeks, he became increasingly attuned to the diverse and profound stories of the people he encountered. Every face held a unique narrative, and every interaction revealed a piece of the human puzzle. One day, Edward found himself in a small, picturesque village nestled beside a tranquil river. The village was adorned with quaint cottages and flower-filled gardens, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming blossoms. It was here that he had a chance encounter that would change the course of his journey once more. As he strolled along the cobblestone streets, he was drawn to a small, enchanting garden where a young woman named Sarah sat beneath a blossoming cherry tree. Her face, illuminated by the dappled sunlight, was a picture of grace and resilience, yet it bore the subtle marks of an ongoing battle. Sarah's story was one of unyielding strength and an unwavering spirit. She had been battling a life-threatening illness for years, a reality that would have led many to despair. Instead, she had chosen to face each day with an unwavering optimism that defied her circumstances. Edward was drawn to her warmth and inner radiance, and he found himself engaging in conversation. They spoke of life, dreams, and the intricacies of existence. As the days passed, their connection deepened, and they shared their hopes and fears in the shadow of the blossoming cherry tree. Sarah's presence left an indelible mark on Edward's heart. Her resilience in the face of adversity, her ability to find beauty in the simplest of moments, and her unwavering belief in the power of positivity were not just inspiring, they were transformative. Edward realized that, in Sarah, he had discovered a kindred spirit, and their unexpected bond became a source of strength for both of them. He decided to stay in the village for a while, offering his support to Sarah as she faced the daily challenges of her illness. They spent their days exploring the village, sharing stories, and finding joy in the small, precious moments that life offered. Edward's presence provided comfort and companionship, and he was grateful for the opportunity to make a difference in Sarah's life. As the weeks turned into months, the bond between Edward and Sarah grew deeper, and they found solace in each other's company. Their journey through life, marked by different challenges and experiences, was an exploration of the resilience of the human spirit and the strength that could be drawn from unexpected connections. But as the seasons changed, so did Sarah's health. Her condition worsened, and one fateful day, as the cherry blossoms fell like tears from the tree above, she passed away in Edward's arms. The world seemed to stand still as he held her, the quiet of the village garden contrasting with the tumultuous storm of emotions within him. The loss of Sarah was a heart-wrenching moment, a reminder of the fragility of life and the depth of human connections. It was a tragedy that left Edward devastated, but it also left him with a profound understanding of the beauty and fragility of existence. Chapter 3 was a testament to the power of human connection, the resilience of the human spirit, and the transformative impact of unexpected bonds. Edward had set out on a journey to seek meaning and adventure, but he had discovered something far more profound, a connection with a soul whose resilience and spirit had touched his heart and left an indelible mark on his journey through the intricate tapestry of life. One day, as the sun cast its golden rays upon the small village, Edward's path led him to a charming garden that seemed to bloom with an abundance of color and life. Beneath the gentle shade of a blossoming cherry tree, he noticed a young woman named Sarah. She was a vision of grace, her face radiating a profound sense of calm, even in the midst of her ongoing battle with a life-threatening illness. Sarah's bright eyes sparkled with an inner light, a testament to the resilience and optimism that had become her shield in the face of adversity. Her presence was a study in strength, her spirit unbroken by the weight of her circumstances. Edward approached Sarah with a warm and respectful greeting, struck by the aura of positivity that surrounded her. Their conversation flowed effortlessly, and as they shared stories of their lives, hopes, and dreams, a profound connection began to form. The hours passed like minutes as they spoke of the intricacies of existence and the beauty that could be found even in the most challenging of moments. As the days turned into weeks, Edward's bond with Sarah deepened. He discovered that she faced each day with an unwavering optimism, choosing to find joy in the simplest of moments. Her view of life was a lesson in embracing the present, and her belief in the transformative power of positivity was infectious. Sarah's courage in the face of her own mortality left an indelible mark on Edward's heart. He realized that, in her, he had found a kindred spirit, someone who shared his desire to seek out the beauty in the world, even amidst hardship. Her strength gave him a renewed perspective on the challenges he had faced on his own journey. It became increasingly evident to Edward that he needed to stay by Sarah's side, to offer her support and companionship as she fought her battle with a life-threatening illness. The decision was not one made lightly, for it meant altering the course of his own journey. However, the bond they had forged and the profound impact Sarah had on his life were reasons enough for him to pause his wanderings. Together, they explored the village, its cobblestone streets, and its charming cafes. They reveled in the beauty of the changing seasons, from the vibrant colors of autumn to the serenity of a snow-covered winter. They shared laughter and tears, dreams and fears, and in the process, their connection grew even stronger. Edward's presence brought comfort and warmth to Sarah's life, and he cherished the moments they spent together. He had come to realize that his journey was not just about self-discovery, it was also about the connections he made and the lives he touched along the way. In Sarah, he found the embodiment of the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of optimism. But as the seasons turned once more, Sarah's health took a turn for the worse. Her battle became even more arduous, and the burden of her condition seemed almost insurmountable. In the quiet of their shared moments, as cherry blossoms fell from the tree above, Sarah's spirit gently left this world, her passing a poignant reminder of the fragility and preciousness of life. Edward held her in his arms as she drew her last breath, the world around them falling into hushed reverence. The beauty of the garden contrasted with the heavy sorrow in his heart. Sarah's story had come to an end, but her legacy of resilience, optimism, and strength would live on in Edward's heart and the pages of his own journey. Chapter 3 had been a testament to the transformative power of human connections. Edward had set out on a journey seeking meaning and adventure, and he had discovered something far deeper, a profound bond with a soul who had taught him the value of embracing life's beauty, even in the face of the most formidable challenges. As he bid farewell to Sarah, her memory became a guiding light on his continued path of self-discovery and transformation.
Chapter 4: Loss and Reflection. Sarah's passing cast a profound shadow over Edward's heart, one that seemed to stretch into the depths of his very soul. The village garden, once filled with the joyous colors of blooming flowers, now appeared a little dimmer, as if nature itself mourned the loss of the radiant spirit that had graced its grounds. Edward's days following Sarah's passing were marked by a deep and pervasive grief. The world felt different to him, as if its vibrant hues had faded into muted tones. The beauty that had once filled his heart now seemed tinged with a bittersweet melancholy. As he wandered the village streets, the cobblestones beneath his feet felt heavier, and the laughter of children playing in the distance seemed to echo with a poignancy he hadn't noticed before. His interactions with the villagers, once marked by the shared joy of the present, now carried a weight of sorrow. He saw the complexity of human existence more clearly, the mingling of happiness and heartache in every smile and every glance. In the solitude of his room, Edward spent countless hours in contemplation, grappling with the loss of the friend who had become a profound source of inspiration and strength. He traced the timeline of their journey together, from the moment they first met beneath the blossoming cherry tree to the shared laughter and shared tears, and finally, to the heart-wrenching moment of her passing. It was in this reflection that Edward discovered the true depths of his journey. His odyssey was not merely an exploration of the external world, it was also an internal voyage into the recesses of his own heart and mind. He had embarked on this path seeking adventure and meaning, and, in the process, he had found a deeper connection to the beauty and tragedy of life itself. The loss of Sarah had illuminated the fragility of existence and the inevitability of mortality. It was a sobering reminder that life was both fragile and precious, and that each moment, no matter how ordinary, was a gift to be cherished. The grief that gripped Edward's heart was not a burden to be cast aside, it was an intricate part of the human experience, one that had the power to shape and transform. In the midst of his sorrow, he recognized the resilience of the human spirit, the capacity to find strength and meaning even in the face of the darkest of moments. In the days and weeks that followed, Edward began to emerge from the shroud of grief, like a butterfly breaking free from its cocoon. The village that had once felt so different now seemed to hold a new, profound beauty. The laughter of children, the rustling of leaves, and the simple acts of kindness exchanged between villagers, these became symbols of the resilience of the human heart and the enduring beauty of life. Edward understood that his journey was not merely a passage through time and space, it was a journey of the soul. It was a path of self-discovery, an exploration of the human spirit, and a testament to the complexity of existence. In the reflection of his own grief, he found the seeds of growth, the wisdom of resilience, and the power of empathy. As he continued his travels, the memory of Sarah and the lessons she had imparted lived on within him, a guiding light that illuminated his path. Chapter 4 was a chapter of loss and reflection, a reminder that the journey of self-discovery was a journey of both joy and sorrow, and that, in the balance of the two, one could find the true essence of life. In the depths of his grief, Edward found solace in reflection. The village, where he had shared moments of laughter and sorrow with Sarah, became a sanctuary for contemplation. He often returned to the garden beneath the cherry tree, the place where their friendship had bloomed, and where the petals of cherry blossoms had fallen like teardrops. As he sat in the garden, the memories of their time together flooded his thoughts. He remembered the way Sarah's eyes had sparkled with resilience, and her laughter had filled the air with warmth. He recalled the hours they had spent talking about life's mysteries, the dreams they had shared, and the comfort of her unwavering optimism, even in the face of adversity. Edward's journey, once driven by a desire for adventure and meaning, now revealed itself as a tapestry of profound human connections. It was a realization that began to shape his perspective on life, and he understood that the true purpose of his travels was not to escape from the world he had known, but to immerse himself in the depth of human connection and to appreciate the value of every life he encountered. He had embarked on this journey seeking to explore the world, yet, in the process, he had discovered that the true exploration was of the human heart. The people he had met had become not just characters in his story, but living testaments to the diversity and complexity of the human experience. In the reflection of his own journey, Edward came to understand the immense value of empathy. He recognized that every person he met had their own unique narrative, a collection of experiences, dreams, and sorrows. He saw that the road less traveled had given him the privilege of sharing in these stories, and that the connections he formed were bridges to understanding, compassion, and shared humanity. As he wandered through other towns and villages, he sought out the stories of those he encountered. He listened to the laughter of children in a bustling market square, the tales of an elderly couple who had spent a lifetime together, and the aspirations of a young artist who saw the world through a different lens. Each of these stories enriched his own, and each person he met left an indelible mark on his heart. In his grief, Edward discovered the transformative power of loss. It was a reminder that life was both fleeting and precious, a reminder to seize every moment and appreciate the people and experiences that made existence meaningful. Chapter 4 had become a chapter of revelation and transformation, where Edward's understanding of the world had deepened. He had learned that the value of his journey wasn't in the distance he covered or the landscapes he traversed, but in the depth of the connections he formed, in the empathy he discovered, and in the recognition of the profound worth of every life he encountered. As he continued his odyssey, this newfound perspective would shape his path and illuminate the beauty and tragedy of existence in even more profound ways.
Chapter 5: The Return. As the seasons continued their ceaseless dance, Edward's journey led him to a moment of introspection and decision. The memory of Sarah, the connections he had formed with the people he had met, and the lessons he had learned along the way had transformed him in profound ways. It was in the depth of this transformation that he found clarity about the path he needed to take next. He realized that, as much as his journey had been an exploration of the external world, it had also been an inner voyage into the intricacies of his own heart and soul. He had set out seeking adventure and meaning, but he had discovered something far more precious: the realization that the essence of life lay in the beauty of human connection and the shared experiences of joy and sorrow. With this realization, Edward felt a deep yearning to return to his hometown, to the comforting embrace of his family, and to the friends who had watched him leave with concern and hope. He understood that the purpose of his travels had not been to escape his life, but to enrich it, to gain a deeper understanding of the human experience, and to appreciate the value of the people who had always been a part of his world. As he retraced his steps, the towns and villages he had passed through felt like familiar old friends, each one bearing the memory of the connections he had formed and the stories he had collected. The road less traveled was now the road that led him home, and the journey back held its own profound significance. Upon his return, the townsfolk greeted him with open arms, and the warmth of their welcome was a testament to the bonds that had not been broken by his absence. His parents, his friends, and the familiar faces of his hometown enveloped him with love and understanding. Edward's journey had left him with a treasure trove of experiences and stories, but it had also left him with a renewed appreciation for the beauty of the everyday. He saw the world through different eyes, and his connection to the people in his life was deeper and more profound. In his own quiet way, he shared the lessons of his journey with those around him, inspiring others to seek out the beauty in the ordinary and to appreciate the value of human connection. His words, drawn from the stories he had heard and the experiences he had lived, resonated with the townsfolk, encouraging them to embrace the fullness of life and the richness of the people who filled it. Edward's journey had come full circle, but he was no longer the same man who had left his hometown. He had returned with a heart that had expanded to accommodate the beauty and tragedy of existence, with an understanding of the value of human connection, and with the knowledge that the world, despite its complexities, was a place of immense wonder and beauty. Chapter 5 marked not only the return to the familiar, but the continuation of the odyssey that was life itself. Edward had embarked on a quest for meaning and adventure, and he had discovered something far more profound: the transformative power of empathy, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring beauty of existence. His journey, though a physical return to the place he had started, was, in truth, a journey of the soul, an ongoing exploration of the depths of the human heart, and a reminder that the value of every life was immeasurable.
With a heavy heart and a mind filled with the memories of his travels, Edward made the poignant decision to return to his hometown. The road less traveled, which had once been a journey of physical exploration, had now transformed into an inner voyage of self-discovery and a deep appreciation for the human experience. The people he had met and the stories he had heard along the way had become a part of his being, etched into the very fabric of his soul. Their tales of triumph and tragedy, of joy and sorrow, were now intertwined with his own narrative, a constant reminder of the beauty and fragility of life. As he re-entered the world he had left behind, Edward carried the lessons he had learned with him, like a lantern illuminating the path ahead. He realized that his journey had given him not just an appreciation for the intricacies of existence, but also a sense of purpose. The beauty of empathy had touched him deeply, and he knew that he could make a difference in the lives of others by using the lessons he had learned on his journey. He found new purpose in helping those around him, in offering support and understanding to those who faced their own challenges and triumphs. His words became a source of inspiration for his family and friends, as he shared the stories and experiences that had shaped him during his travels. The wisdom he had gained from the people he had met resonated with those who listened, encouraging them to see the world with fresh eyes and to appreciate the value of human connection. Edward's homecoming was not a return to the same world he had left, it was a return to a world that he now saw through the lens of compassion and understanding. The familiar streets and faces held a new significance, a deeper appreciation for the beauty that was present in every moment and the strength that existed within every person. In his own way, Edward became a beacon of light in his hometown, a reminder that the journey of life was not just a physical exploration but a profound inner quest. His travels had left him forever changed, and in his return, he carried with him the enduring lessons of the road less traveled. Chapter 5, the final chapter of his Odyssey, marked not just the conclusion of a physical journey, but the beginning of a lifelong commitment to understanding, compassion, and the appreciation of the value of every life. Edward's journey had taught him that the world was a place of immense wonder and beauty, but that its true essence lay in the connections formed and the lessons learned along the way. Back in his hometown, Edward found himself surrounded by familiar faces, but his return was marked by an unmistakable transformation. His experiences on the road less traveled had metamorphosed him from a man seeking adventure into a compassionate soul, dedicated to making the world a better place, one person at a time. He gathered his friends and family, and with an open heart and a voice filled with sincerity, he began to share the stories and knowledge he had amassed during his travels. As he spoke, he painted vivid pictures of the people he had met, their struggles and triumphs, their dreams and aspirations. His words were not just a recollection of his journey, but an invitation to those around him to embrace a deeper understanding of life. Edward's tales were a tapestry woven from the threads of empathy, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The impact of his stories resonated deeply with his loved ones, who listened with rapt attention, their own hearts opening to the wisdom he offered. His experiences became a source of inspiration for his friends, igniting a spark of curiosity and compassion within them. The stories he shared encouraged them to seek out the beauty in the ordinary, to embrace the complexities of the human experience, and to cherish the value of human connection. Edward's dedication to making the world a better place was not limited to words, it extended into action. He actively engaged in community service, lending a helping hand to those in need, and offering support to those facing their own challenges. His presence became a beacon of hope, and his willingness to listen and understand touched the lives of many. Through his actions and his words, Edward became a catalyst for positive change in his community. He found himself working with organizations that supported the vulnerable, volunteering his time and effort to make a difference in the lives of those less fortunate. His journey, once a personal quest for meaning, had evolved into a mission to extend kindness, empathy, and understanding to those who needed it most. In the end, Edward came to a profound realization that the most profound adventures are the ones that take place within the human heart. His journey had been a testament to the boundless capacity for growth and transformation, and to the enduring beauty and strength of the human spirit. As he continued to share his experiences, offer his support, and embrace the people and stories around him, Edward understood that the road less traveled was not just a physical path, but a lifelong commitment to making the world a better place. It was a reminder that the most significant adventures were the ones that touched the lives of others, fostering understanding, compassion, and empathy in the human heart. And so, Fragments of Fate, A Journey Through Desolation, is a story that transcends the boundaries of tragedy and transformation. It is a tale of a man named Edward, who embarked on a quest for meaning, only to discover it in the most unexpected of places, the lives of the people he encountered during his travels. Edward's journey was a testament to the human spirit, a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment, and a testament to the transformative power of empathy and connection. The road less traveled had not just taken him to new landscapes and experiences, it had led him to the profound realization that the essence of life lay in the beauty and intricacies of human existence. Throughout the 5 chapters of this compelling narrative, Edward's experiences, connections, and the lessons he learned became an inspiring and powerful reminder of the value of every life. His encounters with the homeless man Samuel, the young woman battling illness named Sarah, and the myriad of other individuals he met along the way illuminated the vast spectrum of human experiences, from triumph to tragedy. Edward's journey had a ripple effect, inspiring those around him to seek out the beauty in the everyday, to embrace the complexity of the human heart, and to cherish the value of human connection. His dedication to making the world a better place, his commitment to community service, and his willingness to extend kindness and empathy touched the lives of many. Fragments of Fate, A Journey Through Desolation, serves as a testament to the power of storytelling, the resilience of the human spirit, and the enduring beauty of existence. It encourages us to look beyond the surface of things, to explore the depths of the human heart, and to appreciate the transformative impact of empathy and connection. In the end, this story is a reminder that the most profound adventures are the ones that take place within the human heart, and that the value of every life is immeasurable. Edward's journey, with all its challenges and triumphs, embodies the essence of this timeless truth and invites us to embark on our own journeys of self-discovery, empathy, and understanding.